management training on how to do interviews, because basically we have a package from our law firm we're delivering, and there's 2 million cities in the world. 2 to 6 million. We're going 2 million to be on the safe side, lower end. So within that, we're going to have sales managers in pretty much all of them in the next 6 weeks. What we have done is, I'm actually just going to start off. I'm going to just show you guys what we're basically doing. Our law firm, there's a few different positions that we're hiring for. Some are out in the field doing notice delivery, and some are by appointment only. So they are 2 separate positions. So if you apply for one, we're not going to stick you in the other. So you guys just look here. I'm with Peacemaker Study, raising public awareness. Turns out Canada's a corporation. It's actually registered in Washington, D.C. Turns out it's not a government at all. Basically, without realizing it, everyone abandoned their rights for corporate privilege. So we know that's a little shocking, but we have a good news from our corporate law, or from our law firm. Because we're unregistered and unincorporated, we have no oath to the Bar Association of the Law Society, so we can explain how your unincorporated rights work. So we have a package that literally, it's 3 letters. These 3 letters, you send them, it takes 50 days. You can fire the corporation pretending to be your government. You can reclaim your own rights. Your rights, you in the universe, put your spirit in your living body. That's what gives you unalienable rights, unincorporated rights, indigenous rights, sovereign rights, however you want to call it. There's a bunch of names for it. As soon as you enter corporate contract, you give up your rights for their corporate privilege. No one explained this, thereby their contracts actually don't have force of law. So we're just going and teaching everyone, you and 2 other people, you sign a piece of paper, or you claim your own rights, you serve notice as per due process, and this box explains how all of this works. Very plain, very simple, very English, or whatever language we're in, depending on the country. So once people do that, we have an identity document that you can open bank accounts with, use as a passport. It's not a Government of Canada ID document, but it meets all the terms for identification. So we're literally dropping off notice to every door in the world that with 3 letters in 50 days, you can fire the corporation pretending to be your government, or not. There's a few ways you can go about it where you stay in the system but you still operate with your rights. By doing that, you are no longer taxable. You don't have to pay income tax anymore. Direct taxation on labor is the definition of slavery. So the contracts that we use, you set it up as a man or woman, not a corporation, and you earn your living and you use gifts between equals, and that's all non-taxable by definition. We've done it for years. We've hired entire sales teams for public utilities. Provincial Tel Incorporated, they're a CRTC approved utility like MTS and Shaw. So we've worked with the system and gotten them to acknowledge that we're correct to process. If you want to see our actual ID document, it is on our website. If you guys don't want to take my word for it and actually look at it, it describes how and why we're correct in process. So pretty much, when people are born right now, at the hospital, you have the certificate of live birth, and that gives you your birth certificate. What parents don't realize is when you sign that, anything you register, you abandon ownership to the corporate state pretending to be your government. They pledge your child as collateral on the national debt. They are bonded for $8 million at birth. It's where the federal transfer payment comes from, and it's the 1984 Canadian Ownership Control and Determination Act that references the bonding of men and women as corporate slaves at birth through giving up title. No one explains this. It's called hypothecation. It's in a Black's Law Dictionary. So with 3 letters, you can reclaim ownership over anything you registered. So your house, your car, your kids, right now, you don't own them if they're registered. 3 letters, 50 days, cures this law. You have a claim of right. It's in the Criminal Code of Canada. You're not criminally liable from using any amount of force, as long as it's equal, to defend anything you hold under claim of right. Long story short, back in Germany, World War II, they had the exact same legal system that we do right now. It's how they were able to order people out of their homes into ghettos before they did all the other stuff, and all of it is perfectly legal. So when you see in movies, they're like, papers, do you have your papers, do you have your papers? Claim of right is your papers, and that's what we're teaching the world how to do. 3 letters, due process, that's it. So this pretty much sells itself. The other thing is, in addition to the knowledge, we already have programs that have been approved by corporations posing as government, from food banks to advocacy programs to you name it. So we have templates that people can research or just have us teach them on how to set up food banks in their own community. We independent contract everyone, so no one ever has to join us. Our food banks are free to the whole world, whether they join us or not. We're setting up free hospitals, dentists, you name it. Now, how are we going to pay for all this, everyone asks. At 2 million cities, basically, I used to run all the natural gas brokers from Manitoba for about 7 years between a few different companies. I was one of the people that trained them right, so if you had bad people come to your door, please don't get mad at me.
With a natural gas company.
There you go. So within that, a city the size of Winnipeg, 20 people, it takes 1 month to do every door in Winnipeg. So you can have 20 people working year-round in Winnipeg, and you don't burn the territory because it's not the same people home each month, so you're only actually talking to people once every maybe 3 or 4 months. so we can work year-round. With Winnipeg, we're just going with 15 people as an average between the 2 million cities. Now, some people's, New Jersey is 9 million people, so some are higher, some are lower, but just as an average, 15 people. If they only deliver 5 per shift, that's 75 total per day times a 6-day week. That's about 450 sales a week. In Winnipeg, we expect to do about double that. We're undercutting all the numbers here. I'm just giving you guys an example of where our budget comes from. That's what these numbers are that I'm explaining. So 450 a week times 2 million cities. We know for a fact there's 2.5 million to 6 million. So again, this is way undershooting. That's 900 million deliveries a week. $1,000 a box is what we get. People can give $5 or $10 up front. It's our gift for gift program. Freedom's not free. Okay, it's just not. Within that, we've made it accessible. Our actual cost on the box for printing, paying you guys your salary caps, paying our management, everything is about $100 a box. So once people give us that initial gift of $100, they get the box. The other $900 goes on their honor credit account, and that honor credit account also gives them access to our programs that aren't completely free. So let's say you guys are doing your paperwork process and you need a law firm, and within that, most law firms, because they're part of the Bar Association, won't explain this stuff. So you can call our law firm, we'll walk you through exactly how it works to the best of our ability, coach you through it, and through that, let's say it's $100 for the help, right? You could give maybe $10 up front, the other 90 would go on your honor credit, and the honor credit, you just pay your $5, $10, or $20 a month, and it never goes up, and you will keep extending more honor credit to people. So basically, long story short, all these programs we're opening worldwide, we're paying Canadian funds. So if you work for us opening a greenhouse in Haiti, we're going to pay you Canadian dollars in our honor credit accounting system, so that you can get that much value out of whatever you've helped create. So literally, we are unincorporated infrastructure that is going head-to-head in competition with corporations posing as government worldwide, and we outrank them. They are all a limited liability corporation, so as a signing officer, they can only sign limited liability answers. When we send a letter, we ask for a response under oath or attestation upon full commercial liability, upon penalty of perjury, so they don't have the signing authority to answer our litigation back. So it becomes binding. You guys don't need to know all of this. I'm just kind of giving you an overview on how and what and why we're doing, so you guys see the big picture. So you guys, I'm sure, have all heard of different truth movements out there. I Don't Know More, Occupy Winnipeg, Occupy Wall Street, the different things. They all know what the problems are, but they don't have the answers yet as far as, well, how do we transition out of that system into something different? And through us being voluntary association, we meet natural law, corporate law, and common law standards. So we have accountability programs for in the corporate system that our law firm is doing, as well as teaching people how they can actually just set up their own community resources to care for themselves. So what everyone in the world needs to do is stop waiting on all these strangers, be it corporate or someone else, to create what you need in your community, and everyone just needs to do it for themselves, as people are able and willing to. And that's where we're kind of fast forwarding that process, because it's a big complicated process to figure out how to do all of it, and we've done all of that already and gotten it recognized. So we're in the process of getting approved for merchant accounts through TD and that as well. We can do visa transfers anywhere in the world. We have a number of things that will expedite sales worldwide being much easier. Also, because if you guys are getting involved in the Winnipeg office, this is where we manage everything worldwide. This is our worldwide governance headquarters. So within that, you guys have an opportunity, if you do a good job, to become a chief coordinator. Chief coordinators earn a lot more money, and at that point you're pretty much supervising. So we have a lot of those kind of opportunities as well. You guys are getting involved at a really good time. With what we're going and presenting to everyone, the second they do this, they don't pay income tax anymore. And you can get a contractor or your employer just to sign the contract that we show people, and right there you become non-taxable. And your employer doesn't have to do any more deductions either because of the way it all works. So it's just this really cool system that just, we've already worked with organizations, dollar amount that we allocate to ensure that everyone maxes out their salary cap. So we'll go through that in the actual contract signing. You have your independent contractor agreement, your pay schedule. Within that, it is directly related to how many gifts we get given, but given what we're doing, every man and woman on earth is our target market. Even if their mom and dad get the box, they still need to get our package too, because they need their own honor credit account with us, and that's their foundation of learning. And the market never saturates. And we also do exclusive territory, so you're never going to be competing with anyone else. There's none of that. And even the people who just leave the card, letting them know that there's notice, get $5 for every single one that becomes a package delivery, and they can give out 1,000 in a day. And then they get, on top of that, whatever people are home, and then the appointment closers get so much, and so on. So within that, I'm just being honest with all of that, but I can just legitimately tell you that from the way we've set this up, this sells itself. You get a fancy box, it's got everything in it. I mean, who doesn't want to own their kids, their house, or not pay income tax? logistics, right? So, I mean, this is why we're not even really advertising this as a sales position. It just really is package delivery. We're just informing people, and the rest takes care of itself, pretty much. So, and yeah, just so you guys know too, the salary cap, there's a range out there, but really, pretty much for this, sky's the limit. Depending, if you wind up coordinating like a department where you're looking after, say you were chief coordinator of the world basically and supervising the continental sales managers, we're going to have a lot of translation opportunities just on our sales content and package content. And so even if it weren't where you could take it all the way through, but that's something if you were able to participate in, there'd be extra pay in that too, to whatever extent. I'm really not trying to train you guys to be salespeople. You know, it's just pretty much you guys are just gonna need some product knowledge training so you know what the heck we have and how it works. But you guys aren't there to be the expert. Our law firm is there to be the expert because of the nature of the information. We'll train you guys to a point, but beyond that, it's not your job to be the expert on it. We'll get you guys into a group meeting prior to that so you meet the team for your department that you're working with. And we have it in the email which position you guys applied for, so I don't need you guys to re-explain. Do you guys have any other questions? Normally we would go through each of your resumes, but we did that online already, so I have an HR sheet here that we're supposed to go through. And for the people training at home or watching this, review the resume. Normally we would get you guys to go around the room and tell us about how you managed a difficult manager and how you deal with difficult situations and stuff. Just talking with you guys, I don't think any of you guys are going to be cursing out our customers or people we're dealing with. And if you do, you're independent contracting, so you guys are liable anyway, and I can't get sued. Within that, working with us though, you guys do have to be able to manage your day-to-day tasks. We need to be able to prioritize. We recommend you guys start off with us part-time. The only reason I say that is because not everyone's comfortable going, we're a performance-based organization. If we haven't made a loaf of bread, no one can eat the bread yet, right? So within that coming on board, that makes people nervous sometimes. I don't want you guys jeopardizing or feeling like you're jeopardizing something stable or an opportunity that's come along for something new, which is us. We don't mind if you guys start off a few days a week to start till you prove to yourself. We know our systems work. I'm not saying this because I'm worried about anything. We're a co-op nonprofit that's result-based, that we're in 2 million cities with a magic box that no one's ever seen before really, that magically explains how to not have income tax and fire what everyone thought was a government until I said 5 minutes ago and showed you it's not. So through all of this, it can be unsettling. So if you have no worries and you're fine, I'm not trying to give you worries, there's nothing to worry about. However, if you have a wife, a kids, if for the next 2 weeks you go home and she's like, or he is like, when's your first paycheck? Because we got bills to pay. Don't put that stress on me, okay? Okay. Within that, the boxes are done Sunday. We're fulfilling orders next week, and we have people waiting worldwide. As a society, we've been around 5 years, since 2009. We have probably 30,000 supporters worldwide in almost every country in the world already. We have people hounding us daily. We get calls daily. Is it done? Is it done? Is it done? So within that, really, the marketing's already out there. We're already pretty much ready to go. There's really little for you guys to do except for learn the product and just do the job how we train you, pretty much. At this point, is there anyone who thinks this for sure isn't for them? And if so, it's okay. And even if you don't want to say it now and say it later, that's okay. Basically, though, just nod aheads. Do you guys want us to get in touch with you guys to set up your interview and training on that? Okay. And any other questions you guys have, if you can just save it for orientation, because pretty much we're hiring probably 50 people today, different departments. It's not all your guys' department, but within that, we were hiring a lot of people. So if we can just address questions at the appropriate times, you're making our lives a lot easier. However, if it's an emergency thing or something that's really critical, ask if you need to. We're not shy of questions. We just try and stay organized. And then beyond that, you guys will be giving a committee manual at your contract signing, just how our committees work. We don't babysit. Basically, working with us, you guys are going to love it. You pretty much meet up with your team. If you're an appointment closer, you're working pretty much independently, just within setting your appointments and that. But we're not going to chase you guys. We're not gonna, we will check up and support you guys, but we don't call people 4 times a day to make sure that they're where they're supposed to be. You guys are all being independent contracted, which means you guys are your own professionals that we're working with because we want to work with you. We don't want to have employees we own. So we will always give you that respect, but in that we just demand how any professional would be accountable for appointments, deadlines. If ever you're sick or you have holidays, just communicate to us. We work through a mastermind group principle, so if one person is maybe something's come up, a family member passed away and you're just kind of losing it that week, no problem, let us know. We'll have someone pick up the slack for you. You're never on your own with this. We just need good communication, and if you say you can do some we need you to follow through on it, just because otherwise we look like an ass and our credibility is on the line. So we just support each other to do that, basically. The ID document, if you guys want to check, is on our website. If any of you don't know, peacemakersociety.org, O-R-G, that's our website. So if you want to do more research on us, if you're curious about programs, how they work, it's all on there. Just check out our work in media studies. You guys were all pretty much 10-15 minutes early. That's great. Hours and commitments, just kind of think what days you guys have available with your existing schedules and let us know at your group meeting, basically, and your contract signing and that. Something else, we will email you guys copies of the contract this weekend and the pay schedule so you can look through it, so you kind of have a clue what you're coming into when we actually do it. And the video recording, we did one earlier for the contract, so we'll send you a copy of that video, and it's just me actually at this table reading through the contract, and then I paraphrase each paragraph just so you understand it. So once you both read the contract and watch the instruction, anything you're unclear on, write it down, bring it to your orientation and contract signing. We also encourage everyone to have your own lawyers, accountants, everything, check everything out, verify. And within that, in the contract, there are 2 jurisdictions. There's our society law. You guys are voluntary association and independent contracted, so our law doesn't apply to you guys. You'd have to eventually write a test and stuff if you wanted to ever go that route, or even if you just want to be certified to start your own society, we have a testing process that we're developing that people can go through. But other than that, you guys are still all under legality. So let's say I have the right to maybe smoke a joint in public. Just because you work with us, don't start doing that stuff, because you guys don't have a clue how it works, and the legal system will still pick on you. I get 10 grand an hour if I'm doing that and they mess with me, so I don't mind at this point. And we'll teach all you guys are going to get to learn how all that works too. If you're adamantly against 420, I apologize, I brought it up.
I saw some of those pictures on Facebook.
yeah. So within that pretty much concludes it. We are nonprofit, we are co-op structure, and this is a permanent contract. It's voluntary association, so you can always leave it at any time. And if you leave it, we have to pay out all compensation. And let's say for right now, you guys say, helped out before things got big, and then in a month you're not with us, and then we start making money, we will pay you the time period that you're here no matter what. Your salary cap will break it down by the week, and if say week 1 we're not at full sales capacity yet as far as deliveries go, and you don't top out week 1, we'll catch it up for you as it goes forward. Also, with all these cities, we're gonna have way more money than, like, you guys will get capped out and then that becomes usable money for us again. So we're creating an overflow. So 33% of that will go into a permanent trust. So if ever we have a bad week, a bad month, whatever, you guys will all still top out salary cap. So we are startup in a way, not so much in our programs, but as far as our box and becoming funded by the public. Up to this point, our society was funded by ourselves. Our programs would be funded by the public once they were set up, but all of our program developments, proving what we knew, all of that was self-funded. So now we're really going from self-funding to being publicly funded, and labor is the only resource that matters in the world. Right now corporations are trying to use contract to own it incorrectly. We've just done things in a way that is such a good idea and everyone benefits that labor cooperates with us voluntarily, because it's in everyone's best interest, which is what good business is supposed to be anyway. Not that we're a business, but it's just how you keep harmony. You reward everyone what they're worth, and if we all make a loaf of bread together and we all get a piece, then we're all going to keep making bread, right? So that's it. One last chance for questions. We're good? Okay, well that's it for the interviews grouping.